There are goalkeepers, and then there was Petr Čech. In his prime, he wasn't just stopping shots. He was a wall, a last line of defense who seemed to defy physics. Long limbs, lightning reflexes, and that uncanny ability to make strikers doubt themselves. He was Chelsea's guardian. But what turned him from a promising young keeper into a Premier League legend, a man forever remembered with that black helmet? It's a story that begins not with triumph, but with a moment that almost ended everything. Petr Čech's journey started far from the bright lights of the Premier League. A quiet kid from Plzeň, Czech Republic, he fell in love with football early. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't loud, but between the was something special, agile. Chelsea were building something under new manager Jose Mourinho, a team of champions. For £7 million, they signed the 22-year-old Czech, making him the most expensive goalkeeper in the club's history. High expectation, high pressure, but Czech was unshaken. On his debut, he kept a clean sheet against Manchester United, and then he went on an incredible run. From December 2004 to March 2005, he went 1,025 minutes without conceding, a Premier League record at the time. By the end of his first season, he had 24 clean sheets, the Golden Glove, and a reputation as one of the best in the world. But just as his star was rising, fate delivered its cruelest twist. October 14, 2006, the Collision Madejski Stadium, Reading versus Chelsea. A cool autumn afternoon, kickoff. 18 seconds in, everything changed. Čech races off his line to collect a loose ball, a routine save. But Reading midfielder Stephen Hunt charges in. His knee collides with Czech's head at full speed. The sound, brutal. Čech collapses. At first, it looks like nothing. He stirs, tries to crawl off the pitch, then crumples. Crowd murmur, commentary fades to stunned silence. Medics rush in. Minutes stretch like hours. The stadium falls into an uneasy hush. Čech is strapped to a stretcher and rushed to hospital. Chelsea's backup keeper, Carlo Cudicini, comes on. Fast forward to stoppage time. Reading throw everyone forward. A corner is whipped in. Cudicini leaps to claim and is knocked out cold. Two goalkeepers, both unconscious, one game. With no substitutions left, Captain John Terry pulls on the gloves. Chelsea down to 9 men, a defender in goal, hang on for a hard-fought 1-0 win. But in the dressing room afterward, nobody celebrates. All thoughts turn to Czech. Doctors reveal the truth. A depressed skull fracture, mere millimeters from causing permanent brain damage. Immediate surgery. 10 days in hospital. Weeks of rehabilitation. Čech later admits he remembers almost nothing from that day. He would wake, ask what happened, then, minutes later, forget it all. Over and over, the football world holds its breath. Would he ever play again? Would he even fully recover? January 2007. 3 months later, Čech steps back onto the pitch. But he is different. On his head, a black padded helmet, mandatory protection, a scar-turned shield. At first, it's mocked. Sponsors argue over logos. Fans wonder if it will affect his game. But soon, the helmet becomes part of the legend, a symbol of resilience. That season, Čech helps Chelsea win both the League Cup and FA Cup, keeping a clean sheet in the FA Cup final, 120 tense minutes against Manchester United. For many, it feels like a victory against fate itself. The defining night, Munich 2012, fast forward 6 years. Allianz Arena, the Champions League final, Chelsea versus Bayern Munich. Bayern. At home. Extra time. Penalty to Bayern. Arjen Robben steps up. A hush falls over the stadium. Robben shoots. Čech saves. The match drifts to penalties. Čech denies 2 more. When Didier Drogba scores the winning penalty, Chelsea lift their first ever Champions League trophy. And in the middle of the celebrations, helmet raised high, Čech stands immortal. Legacy of the Superkeeper. By the time he retires, Čech has rewritten the Premier League record books. Most clean sheets, fastest to 100 clean sheets, most Golden Gloves. The only keeper to win Golden Gloves with 2 clubs, Chelsea and Arsenal. He earns a place in the Premier League Hall of Fame. For fans who grew up watching him, Čech without his helmet feels almost unrecognizable. That helmet wasn't just protection, it was a reminder. A constant echo of the day he cheated death and came back stronger. Like Peter Parker's spider bite, the blow that nearly ended him instead transformed him into a legend. The Super Keeper. Every superhero has an origin story. For Petr Čech, it was a knee to the head, a moment that could have ended his career, his life, but instead created the Super Keeper. So the next time you see those highlights, the outstretched saves, the black helmet flashing under the lights, remember, you're not just watching a goalkeeper. You're watching a man who turned tragedy into destiny, a man who lived to guard the net, and did so with unmatched brilliance. Soft chuckle. And if you think that's the wildest Chelsea goalkeeper story, wait until you hear about the one who turned into an absolute beast on the biggest stage of them all.